This video is going to walk us through the basic protocol creation for the SpectraStar Nano. So the first thing we're going to do is click on the right tab that we want to use for whether we're using a microplate, the LVIS plate, or a cuvette. So the microplate tab is the one we'll work with first. The LVIS plate is designed for 16 2 microliter samples, like you see there, and the cuvette is a built-in cuvette reader into the Nano reader on top. So make sure you know which tab you're using when we're creating a protocol, and then click on Manage Protocols. If it's not on the list that you like, go ahead and click New, and then make a selection between the three options here. Endpoint reads the plate once, Kinetic reads the plate multiple times, and Well Scanning reads a matrix of multiple points within the well. So we're going to go ahead and click on the Endpoint read, and OK. This will bring up the main protocol window with three tabs. The first thing we're going to do in the basic parameters is enter a name for that absorbance reading, and then we're going to choose the microplate definition that we're using for that read. Next is to decide whether you want to have individual wavelengths or a spectra. So the individual wavelengths allow us to type in an individual wavelength like normal, or multiple wavelengths in the same plate read. So I can put in two different plate reads here, two different wavelengths, and it's going to read two different wavelengths, whatever I specify them to be. If you want to choose a spectra run, then we're going to click on the spectra function, and I'm entering whatever range of the wavelength that we'd like to capture for this particular plate. So in this case, from 400 to 700 will give us a range of the spectra. It takes the same amount of time to do all of the spectra as it does a single wavelength. You can also choose resolution. So there's a pull-down menu here for resolution that allows me to choose between 1, 2, 5, and 10 resolution for the wavelength resolution. So we select 1 in this case. We don't have that many samples to read, and it's going to fly right through. The next is to choose whether we want the fastest or the most precise measurements. This is the number of flashes for the absorbance, and then we move on to the layout tab. So the layout tab allows us to input the format for that microplate in blanks, standards, and samples. You can see here we're going to put in 2 replicates horizontally for the plate, and then I'll put in maybe some 8 replicates for the samples going down the rest of the plate here. So when you do this, you're going to type in vertical for the sample replicates, and they'll go vertical instead of horizontal. The next tab is the concentrations and shaking tab, where we can enter in the concentration for the standards. So let's say I have 1,000 as my highest standard here, and I have a 0.5 or dilution, zero dilution down. I can just click on the word concentration and it will auto-fill all of those standards for me. You can always double click on the well if you need to manually type in a particular value. So in this case, instead of 15.55, I can enter in 15 if I want it to be. You can also do shaking, so I can do orbital, double orbital, or linear shaking, and at different speeds based on my assay. You can shake before the plate is red if you like, to knock out the air bubbles and mix things with 3 seconds, 5 seconds. So once all those are done, then you're ready to read the plate. You can just click on Start Measurement, and the absorbance read will go through.